I'd like to call this meeting of the Dalton Selectboard to order, please. Please note this meeting is being recorded by Zoom for the purpose of taking minutes in Dalton Community TV cable. All those able, please rise for the pledge, and Mark will be with us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tiffany, would you do a roll call, please?
Here.
Yes, here.
Here.
No, that's your chair.
Hey, same thing.
Boy, he changed.
Yeah.
Tom is not present tonight.
Well, at least we cleared that up. Terry Williams, and excuse me, Dan.
Yeah, and Dan Esco is excused and told me he was on vacation. Both excused. Okay. First on the agenda, number 4, minutes from June 23rd, 2025, a joint meeting with the Public Safety Advisory Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the minutes of the Public Safety Advisory Committee on June 23rd, 2025, a joint meeting with the Public Safety Advisory Committee, be approved as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. Is there any further comments or corrections?
I wasn't there.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And then April 9th, 2025 minutes.
Of the Public Safety Committee, again?
Maybe that was a public meeting.
I gotta read this again.
Just for April 25th. April 9th, yeah?
Yeah, we another joint meeting?
No.
Yes, it was. It was.
Go ahead, just do it.
It was.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a joint meeting.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I move that the minutes of a joint meeting with the Public Safety Committee on April 9th be approved as submitted.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. Is there any further corrections or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Please. Okay. Public to address the board. This is the time when the public may address the board on any item listed on the meeting agenda or any issue or matter of the town. If you intend to comment on an item listed on the meeting agenda, please do so at this time, as we will not be taking comments from the audience when the item comes up for board discussion. The public address to the board segment will last no longer than 30 minutes. Each individual will be given up to 3 minutes. If you intend on addressing the board, we ask you to do the following. Please raise your hand and be recognized by the board chair. Please stand up to the podium and speak into the microphone. If there is one over there, I don't know if there's one over there or not. Please identify yourself by name, address, or the company/institution you represent. Please address your comments to the board chair. Make your comments concise and try not to repeat statements made by others. Discussion or debate on any issue may not take place at this time. The chair or the designee may answer questions on procedural matters. Is there anyone out there who would like to speak on any of the items? Jimbo?
Yes.
Okay.
Jimbo Doucette, 10 Renee Drive. Want me to speak now?
What do you want to talk about? Do you want?
Clean Air Committee.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
And thank you for putting that Clean Air Committee update on the agenda. At the last meeting I was here, I spoke at the beginning of the meeting and expressed my dismay that it wasn't on the agenda. And I was very startled when I left the meeting late after the town meeting's presentation, when all that was left was items not brought up before 48 hours before the meeting. I found out that after I left, there was a big discussion about the Clean Air Committee that I read in the newspaper. I was wondering why nobody said anything to me that was going to be brought up later in the meeting when I brought it up early in the meeting. The main concern I have right now with the Clean Air Committee and the permits and all this stuff is that we can put all the conditions we want on the permit. And the problem is, what are we going to do different? Because right now, we've got a situation where for years, they've been reacting to complaints. They don't do stuff proactively. They just ignore stuff and get away with it. So they've been mining on this 10516 for 3 years, and there's no real penalty for that. So I'm wondering, what are we going to do different as a town when we put these new conditions on a new permit, assuming they get the permit? I'd like to see what we're going to do something different. Also, we had on the article in the town meeting, special town meeting, we talked about awarding money, setting aside money for legal representation of the town in regards to this permit process. And I heard Mr. Strout say that he wanted us to get a pit bull. And I've heard Mr. Pagliarulo say he wants a bulldog. And I thought we were going to hire someone that has expertise in this area. And it looks like we're just using the same law firm that normally represents us that doesn't seem to be very strong in this area. I don't know if that's going to change or not. I'd like to see it change.
Okay. Also, Jimbo, there will be, the clean air is going to be a regular agenda item for
It
here.
will be a regular agenda, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Lynn?
Same old thing.
Let's hear it.
Oh, I forgot my notes. Well, I can start off with this. This is like a rerun, a review of everything that's gone on. And I started it with November 4th, 2024. Ron contacted the town manager about the sand plumes that we saw in the air coming from Berkshire Concrete Slot 105-16.
And that and I'll only interrupt, the first plume that I saw was in mid-September of last year. So we're approximately 1 year away from when we
There was no
first started seeing it.
We went into vote early. It was November.
I stand corrected again.
Okay. That, January 9th, that's when it really got bad. That's when we had our whole area, the whole neighborhood was covered with sand. And we took pictures of it. And Ron went in and talked to Agnes Wachowski at the Board of Health. And then she contacted the DEP. And on January 15th, 2 agents from the DEP came to visit. They were horrified. They walked around the neighborhood. They took a sample of the sand. We said, yes. But then, February 10th, the agents were taken off the case. Our contact was now Dan Balboni, and Dan Balboni said the sand not tested because the DEP didn't know what to test for. Then on February 13th, I contacted Lee Davis, our state rep. She contacted Michael Gorski, the DEP regional leader of Western Mass, and she requested that the DEP expedite a test on the sand sample. On February 14th, Lee Davis contacted the Board of Health about a company to test the sand called Kleinfelder. If we go back to this one, Lee Davis, we had new DEP reps. We had Sean Gonzalez and Catherine, I can't remember her last name. They visited the neighborhood. The sand will not be tested at the mine because it may not be the same as the sand polluting the neighborhood. And they did the monitoring of the area.
And they met with us in our house for about an hour talking about this.
So they came back on March 28th, and after a haphazard air monitoring for 3 hours on 3 days that we had had wet weather and no wind, they concluded, the DEP concluded, that sand pollution is a nuisance, not an air quality issue. They only measured PMs of 2.5. So, communication with the DEP and Lee Davis kind of stopped. Lee Davis shut us out. And I know at a future date, Lisa Pugh contacted her and she said, I sympathize, I support you, but I have to remain neutral in the permit process. No help. So that's that area. February 10th, 2025, I contacted the town manager about special permit violations, and the town manager contacted the building commissioner about special permit violations, and contacted the town planner about special permit violations, and the chair of the planning board told us to contact the building commissioner. So the town manager told us to contact the building commissioner. The planning board told us to contact the building commissioner, and the building commissioner told us to contact the town planner. The town planner told us to contact the building commissioner. Then on February 12th, the town planner said a clerical error occurred which prevented 105-16 from being on a special permit, but lot 105-16 was on the site plans submitted with the application. Site plans were approved at the November 20th, 2024 planning board meeting. This is the site plan, not on this board though. This is the site plan that was submitted with their application on September 17, 2024. These are the two lots on the application. Way over here, these two little lots. There is nothing here that says gravel removal. Over here is lot 105-16, and it says 2022 gravel removal, and they have been excavating since 2022, but it's very been secretive. So, because they handed in this site plan, and this is the only area showing gravel removal, their application was approved, but they still did not put lot 105-16 on the permit. March 12th, building inspector said Berkshire Concrete never had a special permit for lot 105-16, so they committed no violations. And then the latest thing is we're back to the Board of Health being in charge, kind of what's going on, and it's been 8 months. Do you want to read that?
Go ahead. Give it a shot.
This is a classic case of obfuscation. I've been waiting to use that word, which means intentionally confusing wording to confuse your intended audience. We've been confused. I don't know about you, but I have no idea what's going on. Everything keeps changing. You did a good job, sir.
Okay.
So that was the visual and the site plan. And I have a packet for each of you. It contains some of my public comments to the board. It also includes information on silica and why construction sand is so valuable. In the 70s, when I moved to the Berkshires, I worked on the Western Regional Bookmobile, and while driving through Cheshire, the bookmobile driver pointed to a sand operation and said, "You won't believe this, but there is something so special about that sand that it is imported by Saudi Arabia." That's insane, but that's what he said. That's something special, silica. Construction sand is 96 to 100% silica, according to the USGS, which is the United States Geological Survey. It's part of the Department of Interior. Also included in the packet is an email from my thoracic healthcare team at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, who said sand is basically...
That's Lynn Griffin talking.
I'm sorry?
What's that?
Oh, they must be talking on the,
No.
Yeah, Black mouth, please.
Am I talking too long?
No.
no, they're talking about,
Somebody's on
Okay.
Zoom.
There is also information on silica in the packet. It takes a very small amount of airborne silica dust to create a health hazard. Again, that's according to the USGS. But for the people who don't believe that there's silica in the sand, in the packet is information from California, thanks to Glenn Shaw, about the harmful effects of PM10. That's
Particulate matter more than 10
a little bit
microns.
bigger than the 2.5 micron, but just as dangerous because it can still be breathed into your lungs. I'm sure you have all heard about the wildfires in California and in Canada. There were air quality alerts posted here in the Berkshires during the smoke coming from Canada. Any particulate matter 10 microns or smaller is unhealthy to breathe, and it doesn't have to be silica. Any PM10 microns or smaller is dangerous. There are over 150 sand mines in Massachusetts, and presently there are no state laws because we are talking about huge amounts of money. It is up to our municipalities to protect us. Select Board, please do your job. Anyone read?
Read what? No, go ahead.
Silica dust is harmful when inhaled into your lungs. It is 100 times smaller than a grain of sand. You can breathe it without knowing. That's from the Cancer Council. Exposure level of silica equivalent to no more than a teaspoon of dust in a football field is recommended. In our neighborhood, we have a lot more than a teaspoon of dust. Over an 8-hour workday, a worker should not be exposed to an amount greater than a pinch. That's from the USGS. And you're going to hand out the packets?
I don't have it. Oh, they're over there.
Yeah. Thank you for bearing with me again.
Thank you.
I hope I won't have to see you again.
We hope we can get this damn thing resolved.
Yeah.
We worked all day on this.
Yeah, they trying to.
Let's read.
I will.
There's a test at the end of the meeting.
Don't forget that word.
Now, can I leave a couple passages?
We'll put some down in the New York Times.
Voting department.
Yes.
Put them in my mailbox.
Oh, yeah.
They got maybe a year left.
Yes. Could you say that?
Bring the board over and we'll take the vote.
Jimbo just told me that in the New York Times yesterday, there was an article about the firefighters.
Firefighters. There's young men that have been fighting fires for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And they've got cancer from all the smoke and particulate matter they breathe. Now, grant you, that's a lot more concentrated than what I'm talking about. But it is serious.
Well, this was
Thank you.
a special permit that's currently in order.
And these are two parcels that were on this side.
Okay.
This is one. I think it's one.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
They won't fit the standard. I think I might have a lot of stuff already. Did you want to say comments for the other two guys that have it?
I already gave them a copy.
Okay.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
I'd like to speak about the same issue about Dalton Clean Air.
Okay, do you want to wait when it comes up on the Dalton Clean Air Committee?
What's that?
You want to wait till it comes up on the agenda item?
Sure.
Okay. Anyone else? Richard?
Yeah. Actually, Lenny, can I put on your back for one second?
No.
So hi, Richard Holt, 164 Green Ridge Drive. I just wanted to clarify one point on this. The wording here says 2022 gravel removal. What it doesn't do is put a circle around this area, which is required by the special permit. I can't remember which number. So not only was the lot number not put on the application, but this wasn't even circled as it's required to be as part of the permit. So that was point number one. The other thing is, they're doing some work there at the moment, and I'm not sure if they've told the town what they're doing, because at the moment there's no gate. So I can't send the police up to close the gate that isn't there. So I'm not quite sure how that should be handled. I would have hoped that they'd come to the town and said, okay, we're doing some work, which looks like it might be an improvement, but we're not going to have a gate for almost a week. Are you okay with that? Because that would seem to be an issue if we got kids riding bikes in there from what happened a couple of months ago.
Oh, yeah.
And then number three, last time under things not anticipated in 48 hours, there was something brought up. I just wondered what was on the agenda for anything that's come up within 48 hours, so we know whether we need to stay and to be able to comment on it.
Yeah. From now on, Richard, it's going to be a Clean Air Committee is going to be on the agenda. It's going to be a regular agenda item.
Yeah.
We're not going to have that problem here.
Yeah, but I think it's reasonable, not just for that specific issue that's brought up, but just in general, things that weren't anticipated in 48 hours, explained to the public at the beginning of the meeting, so that if there's something that they want to state.
Okay, we'll
comment,
announce if there's something for
Yeah,
okay.
you understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good point.
Richard, has the planning board been advised of that 105-6 lot
Yes.
with the 2022 on it?
Yeah,
Do they know about that?
I've sent them a letter on it.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to speak for the board, I just want to speak on the same agenda,
Same issue.
same issue that everybody else has been talking
Right, is there something different or is it the same?
about.
Is there something different?
Something different.
All right, go ahead.
So Pete Person, 30 Florence Street, Dalton. So I just want to go on the record. I've been informing the boards since all this started of the strict OSHA regulations regarding drilling, grinding, cutting, and similar activities regarding concrete, anything that's got silica paint, sand paint, anything, okay? This isn't new, okay? So every board has heard about this. Secondly, the clerical error that occurred. They're claiming clerical error. Brian Duvall is claiming I'm not enforcing because there wasn't a permit. So it's almost like Berkshire Concrete, not almost, they want to have it both ways. Oh, it was a clerical error. We meant to put this on here, but no, we're not going to enforce it. So how can that be? If it's a clerical error, then they still should have to play by the same rules as if they did have a permit. And everybody keeps ignoring that, saying, oh, it's a clerical error. No, it's not enforceable because they didn't have it. I mean, let's use some common sense here. If it was in fact a clerical error, that's forgivable. Everybody makes mistakes. But this almost seems like it was plotted, okay? And then they're begging for forgiveness now by saying, oh, it's a clerical error. But yet, there's no enforcement because there's no permit. So which one is it? Is it a clerical error? Or, I mean, you can't have it both ways. They're looking to have it both ways. And I have to question Brian Duvall's allegiance here. Does he work for the town? Because you claimed that he refused to go out there and inspect. So does he work for the town or not? I have the dates here. I can pull them up if you want me to do so. But he said he was refusing to go out because he doesn't have a permit on it. So I don't understand. I can't just refuse to do things and stay employed where I am. So it's mind-boggling to me. where does the authority and responsibility begin and end? It seems like it's another board, and I get it, you guys are doing, you're all doing you know, the best you can, but it's like we just keep getting bounced from board to board to board. And I really should have had this date pulled up, but, you know, with Brian not doing that, he admitted that there was not a permit on it. But yet, again, like I said, they claim the clerical error, and I'll give you the date later if, because I know I do have it, where you told us that he refused to go out there. You just can't refuse to do things if you're gonna have that job. And he's seeking legal authorities was the information we got. Well, isn't the whole town seeking legal authority on this? Legal consultation, legal advice? So, I don't understand who we're dealing with anymore. Like Lynn says, it's just so confusing. It's like, who ultimately has the authority here?
We'll try to get that figured out for you. We'll start to see who's actually.
And I'm worried, and it may be the best thing in the world. They're saying, well, we're starting another board that's attached to the Board of Health, and it's like, why are we gonna put one more board in here?
Yeah.
Because we're just bouncing from one to the other, and nobody seems to have any answers. So, the other thing I would like to mention, and it was brought up in a meeting, the inequity of what's going on bond-wise. Patrica has a $25,000 bond on that piece of property. There's water impounded behind that, and I've mentioned this several times, that it's a public safety issue in my opinion. That if anything breaks there, okay, and that water comes down, there's gonna be problems right in this section of town. Paul Nickolas has a $140,000 bond. I don't think Paul Nickolas has as many logistical issues there as they have here. Where's the equity? I heard during the planning board, Don Davis made mention that, well, you know, it's good for Ray Robert, but everything should be equal. Well, it doesn't seem very equal to me. And I think, I'm just going to hazard a guess, that perhaps that's an old bond that was issued, you know, however long ago, and it's never been updated. But as we all know, prices have gone way up, and I think they could do more than $25,000 worth of damage in the snap of your fingers. So
I agree with you.
all right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You can use that word, obfuscation.
I can't say that.
Ron, go ahead.
Just very, very quickly. We talked about the amount of time that we've spent on this subject since last February, when we started to have our meetings with the town board. The very first meeting, in fact, first question is, how many people are here on this subject? Raise your hands.
Well, that's nothing, there's nothing.
How many, how many people are not? Okay?
That's okay.
This is,
Sorry.
this is typical. No, don't apologize. You're more than happy to join us, please.
Okay,
Um,
I'm in.
The very first meeting, none of you three were present for that because it was a health board meeting, and it was at the calendar. And I told Agnes, the week before, I said, you gotta go to the senior center, I'm just telling you. And she said, oh no, we always meet in the county room, we'll be fine, we never had more than 3 or 4 people. I said, okay. We had 100 people in town hall, standing in the hallway, waiting to get into Callahan, which was already full. That first meeting was indicative of how this town, the townspeople, felt about this problem. Now, we don't have 100 people here, but I'll tell you what, people that are here, pretty passionate about it. And we have gone through so much in the last 8 months, and truly do not feel, I mean, we hear it, and we don't feel it, that there's a genuine interest at the town level to address this problem. This is a serious health matter, period. We're not asking if he could pound sand and not cause the problems that we're experiencing, go for it. But that's not the case. If there was a way to do it so as to not have the neighborhoods suffer. And as he continues, it's only going to get worse because it's going to get right behind Raymond Drive, and you're talking about property values. That's a neighborhood where property values are pretty sensitive. Not that I'm not sensitive where I am, but somebody here there has to be a sense of seriousness. And I'm not suggesting that any one of you guys are serious, but what actually has been done, truly been done to address the problem? And I mean, you hear us talk about this all the time when we come here. We talk about it, but we're not hearing things in response that make us feel like the town is genuinely going to address this problem and resolve it for the people that live here, for the children that live here. We got to do something, guys. Believe me, if you ask for our help, you got it. If you don't do your job, you're going to get our help whether you want it or not. That's the reality of it. That's where we are. We can't keep this fight. You don't know how tired it is. You think my wife loves to get up here and do all of this artwork and talk about? She's the one that's experiencing the problem. She's the one who's had health problems, had lung cancer, had a lobectomy. Okay? Not that that's genuinely the reason for it, but it's a contributor, and it might be, we don't know. But what difference does it make? It's still there. It's still a health problem. And I can name a half a dozen other people in that neck of the woods that have experienced lung problems. Johnny Dominguez is a classic example. Had both his lungs replaced. Just please, I know you guys have been in this town for a long time. And I genuinely appreciate the fact that you're willing to sit there and be pounded every freaking meeting on the same subject. We've got to get to a point where we put this behind us, guys. And the only way to do that is stand up to the big money. That's what we've got to do. You got our help. We'll stand up with you. We'll stand alongside you, not behind you. We'll be right with you. So let's genuinely do something about it as we go forward. I don't want to go through another year.
I don't blame you. Okay. Anyone else? Yes.
Eli Hatsoon from 170 Raymond Drive. How you guys doing? I know everybody there. I'm not gonna make it boring. I was wondering when you guys gonna force Mr. Patrica or Concrete Man to come down and face us? Is that on the agenda somewhere? Because I've been here a half dozen times at least. And as you know, we all got time, very important. And we like to all speak to him directly to tell him what is he doing to his neighbors.
He's very well aware of it. We had a meeting with him. Terry, Tony and I had a sit-down meeting with Terry. He's very well aware of what's going on.
I'm sure he is, but we would like to see him here, let him really hear directly from us, you know? Because I mean, even if he has a permit, I hear a lot, he has permit here, not permit for that site and this and that. But let's simplify the whole thing. Even if he has a permit, he doesn't have a permit to send sand to my house when my grandkids play on the deck and on the grass. I was talking about that much could make you sick. I have a picture, we sent it to the towns, and you can see pictures of my deck. I could get you 5-gallon bucket of that sand was on my deck. That's what my 3-year-old and year-and-a-half-old grandkids play. And my nephew also bought the house, old Dalton auto body, Rick. And just 2 weeks ago, he's playing outside with his kids. He's supposed to be here tonight about 9. They had to go back in. That was windy that night. They could not even be outside. That's how much the sand was going in their mouth.
And
That's
I
only
have
that 2 or 3 weeks ago.
This is
Back to the
after
remediation.
Yeah, so it's, yeah, we don't want to come and keep bitching. I mean, I appreciate your time, all of you listening to us like everybody says. But at one point, we'd like to see him here to make the complaint and see what we're going to do about it. I feel like we keep coming here, boring you guys with the same stories, basically. But
No, unfortunately.
we appreciate listening, but we'd like to see him here. Is he going to be forced to show up and do something about it, or we're just going to, every meeting, going to come and talk about it and go home and get the sand next week, you know? If we could somehow manage to force him to come in.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if he would come or not, but we certainly can try.
Yeah, be nice. Thank you for listening.
Okay. All right, now we're gonna move on to the appointments. Elect the alternate delegate to the Berkshire Regional Planning Commission. Just, I wanted to talk to Dan.
So
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we appoint Dan Esco as the alternate delegate to the Berkshire Regional Planning Commission.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? I talked to Dan over the weekend and I asked him about it and he said he'd be glad to do it. So,
Okay, good, great. Good. Okay, excellent.
okay,
Okay.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that Sergeant James Duryea, Jr., Detective Joshua Bradley, Officer Nickolas Gaudette, Officer Joseph Coote, Officer Chelsea Eichstedt, Officer Taggart Roosa, Officer Jacob Tiffany, Officer Lucas Perry, Animal Control Officer Levi Lisi, to be appointed as constables effective immediately.
Second.
Right. Motion been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? The reason we're doing this is, when we post like warrants and stuff, sometimes we don't have enough regular constables, so that's what we're trying to do, so we can post it in a timely fashion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Aye.
Number 7, review of vocation education application. Where, do you have that, or?
It's in your folders.
Okay.
There's only one this one.
Yeah. Okay, we have application before us. Don't see it named.
Oh.
It's a student, okay?
Mr. Chairman, regarding the vocational ed application before us, I move that the student so mentioned in the application be allowed to transfer to vocational ed effective immediately, and it be funded to our regular manners in the vocational education budget.
Second.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we open as license of board.
Second.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Mark?
Yeah.
Bob, yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 138, Section 120, an act which permits local boards to allow on-premises wines and malt beverage license holders to trade in their license for a non-transferable on-premise all alcoholic beverage license. And I guess the motion is to accept this section of Massachusetts General Law 130.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? John, you want to explain that?
Yeah. This is meaningless, it's absolutely meaningless. I'm gonna make this simple, wait a minute. Because there are no what's called beer and wine license holders in the town of Dalton. So, no one has the opportunity to trade up their license for a full all alcoholic on-premise license. And I will also say this, the town of Dalton right now has several all alcoholic on-license licenses available. So if anybody really wants one, just come in and apply for it, that's simple. But this doesn't apply to us really, but we feel obligated to adapt it into our licenses. And the second part of this, any questions on that? Yeah.
Joe, my only point was when you read it, you said section 120 and it's actually 12D. That's my only point.
Well, it says 120 on here?
No, it says
12T.
12D.
Oh, I thought it was 120, okay.
It's 12D.
It's 12D.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move to amend my own motion. I move that section 120, language be stricken and inserted in its place, section 112D.
Okay.
You see that?
Second.
Yeah, that's kind of like a 1, 2.
It's 12D for the record.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the motion, now be acted on as an amended motion.
Okay. All right, is there a second? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Thank you, Richard. You all eyeballs. And the other section of this, section 8 regarding license board, a separate issue, is been suggested that the license fees for calendar year 2026 remain the same.
Second.
Okay, motion to made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Thank you, whoever did that disgusting little thing. I hope you're happy.
No, there's that. That is nice.
Just shut it down, Mark. Shut it off, Mark. What a class act, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, just for the record, the license renewal fees are all alcohol for restaurant, package store, club, general on premises, $600 a year. Beer and wine, restaurant, package, club, general on premises, $200 a year. And a farmer's series pouring license is $200 a year. Okay? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so moved.
Mr. Chair, I move we close this license board.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Roll call vote, John?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Bob, yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we open as the sewer commission.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. Roll call vote, John?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Bob, yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the fiscal year 26 sewer warrant as presented.
Second.
For the record, repairs.
This is the amount we pay Pittsfield, right?
Yeah,
Hey, basically, what this means is we're ratifying what we, as the town of Dalton, paid Pittsfield for accepting our sewage, and it's $834,810.61.
okay. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Adjourn, I move that we adjourn as sewer commission.
Is there a second? Okay. Roll call vote. Mark?
Yeah.
John?
Yeah.
Bob, yes. Okay, number 10, review. September 17th special town meeting motions and explanations. Okay, Terry, you're on.
Okay, the takeaway is the meeting is this next Wednesday, September 17th, not this upcoming one, the following September 17th. It's at 7 o'clock at Wacona Regional High School. We have 5 articles that have been placed on the warrant. The first article, and we're still filling in some of the numbers, as you know, we're going to meet Wednesday to firm up some of these numbers. But Article 1 is presented to us by Central Berkshire Regional School District, where they are asking us to approve the updated, amended Central Berkshire Regional School District Agreement. And they're going to basically talk this up. We've approved it in the past. I believe we approved it about a year and a half ago, and they require 6 of the 7 towns to approve it within a year. And I'd be honest with you, I'm not sure if that's a fiscal year or calendar year, but within a 12-month period. They did not get that. I gather Hinsdale is the one that's not going along with this. But they're asking us to approve it again in the hopes that they can get the 6. And so they'll be presenting that, Article 1. We'll get them in and, they can go their own way after that. Article 2 is an interesting article. It essentially amends the vote taken for what was called Article 3 of the May 5th annual town meeting. And for all of you, that is the general fund operating budget article. And this kind of is to fine-tune some of the numbers both downwards and upwards. So we have, right now, we have reductions in vocational education, and our accountant Sandy Albano has looked closely and feels we can reduce what we appropriated at the May 5th meeting by $80,000. So that's a decrease. Next, we have the health agent salaries that is going to be reduced by $61,050. And actually, this is kind of a movement from salaries in the health agent department to expenses. And so further down, we have in the increases the exact same figure, 61,050. So it's kind of a net zero. And the reason we have to do this is, as you may know, our health agent, Agnes Wachowski, resigned, and we hired in her place to be our health agent the Berkshire Health Alliance, which is a offshoot of the Berkshire Regional Planning Corporation. And so for the pretty much the exact same of money, I think actually slightly less because they're contracted for 11 months, we are able to get the services of the Berkshire Health Alliance, which is really, I'm very high on it, it's great. We have one assigned person to our office. He works with our assistant, Victoria, and so there's full coverage for the 4-day week. And then we have the ability to hone in on all their specialty, because they do 9 other towns in the Berkshires. And so they have a person that does nothing but do food licensing. They have another person that does septic and Title V type of work and water work. And they have another person who takes care of homes, which unfortunately have come to our attention because of extreme hoarding, and it's a health concern. So we're very happy with that. There's no change in the budget, but we now have a new way of providing the service of the health agent department. We also have a reduction of $15,324 in the account 710, which is the bonded debt service. This essentially, when we appropriated it in May, we didn't have the firm number of the debt service for the year. We now have it, and it turns out we can reduce that line item 710 by $15,324. So it's a grand total of $156,374 in reductions. Now, going to the increases, already mentioned is the 61,050 for the health agent, which is the Berkshire Health Alliance. We are also having to raise $13,500 for the Department 152 telecommunications, and that department, that's primarily for needed software upgrades. As some of you who have PCs might know, Microsoft is discontinuing the Windows 10. They will no longer be upgrading that in October, mid-October. And they also are eliminating Microsoft Office 16 and Microsoft Office 19, and it's being replaced by a subscription service, which again, some of you may already be aware of, called Microsoft 365. And that package, by the way, is great because it includes the one that we get, includes the Outlook email. So we're actually going to save some on the email, which actually meant that the 13.5 in itself would have been higher, except we've been able to eliminate a certain number of email accounts that we've been paying for, because now this new service incorporates Outlook into it. So that's the reason for that request. And there are 2 others for which, quite honestly, I'm getting to the, trying to get the exact number as best I can, and that revolves around the salary for town manager and the salary for the town accountant. We'll talk about the accountant briefly. Our longtime accountant, Sandy Albano, is retiring after 25 years. And we're actually, in my update, I'm going to announce that we are going to be interviewing 4 candidates this week, and we hope to be able to choose from one of them. But looking at the salaries, Sandy's going to hopefully be able to assist a little bit in October after she has retired, to bring the guy or gal along. And in that way, we may need additional monies for the salary of town accountant. With town manager, we have the situation where, of course, I'm acting as interim until we choose a new permanent town manager, and we've had to increase the salary range offered to attract a quality candidate. And so due to that, there's a concern that we might have insufficient funds to last the year. So I have to estimate that for this town meeting, and I'm sure I'll be able to do that. Let's go on to Article 3. Article 3 is a article where we are having $94,000 requested from the Sewer Stabilization Fund to essentially bring the town into compliance with what's called the MS4 stormwater permit as required by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And I want to take my hat off to Tom Irwin I'll mention that again in the update, who did yeoman's work to prepare an RFP and get a number of engineering firms come forward with very detailed requests of what we would want, and we've been able to choose a contractor, a consultant, and we're going to be doing that work between, essentially after we hope it's approved, until next spring, and this is going to help us move in the right direction. It's a number of parts to this 94,000, but we're very happy with the way it has come along. By the way, 2/3 of vote is required on stabilization withdrawals. Article 4, essentially, we don't have a grand total on this one yet either, because we have 3 projects which we're going to hope to appropriate from capital stabilization. Again, 2/3 vote required. And the projects are, number 1, we need to install gutters on Town Hall on the back side, going all the way around the back side of Town Hall and back towards the library. The reason for that is one of the big problems down in the area of the police station and such is water infiltration through the foundation, and our insurance company is convinced that if we gutter that whole area that's never been guttered, the rain comes off right there by the foundation, and have that water move away, that it will help any mold situations that are currently down there. So that's expected to be about, it could be up to 15K. I'm going to get a more firm number here in the next couple of days, and that's for aluminum. We had sought a bid for copper because there's copper on the front of Town Hall, but the copper is pretty much double the cost of aluminum, so we're trying to save the taxpayer some money, so we're looking at going with aluminum. It'll be dark brown and you won't even see it. Second item is Town Hall. We're going to purchase 9 new computers, and we're going to be asking about $10,000 for that, and those are computers that unfortunately, due to the upgrades that I just alluded to in software from Microsoft, whether it be Windows 11 or the 365, Microsoft 365 Office, these computers, 9 of them, currently do not have enough ability to handle that software, so they have to be replaced. Third is a kind of a unfortunate situation. I don't know if any of you live up, I guess perhaps not, Yvonne Drive, which of course is way off in the southern part of town. We've had a head wall to a culvert totally collapsing, and it's got involved with underground electric service and gas lines that are eroding, and it's according to our DPW superintendent, a very kind of dangerous situation. So they've got it kind of just stabilized, and we have an engineering firm who's doing a complete workup, including the bid packages, and they are going to give us an estimate prior to the 10th, when we meet and have a powwow with the Selectboard and Finance Committee. So that one's up in the air. So we don't know the total. Article 5 is the final article, and this is a case where we're asking that approximately, and again, this is another number that I'm expecting to get tomorrow or Wednesday morning. I've asked for it from our engineers. It's to fund a sewer engineering project for the middle third of Dalton Division Road. As you may know, in the next 3 years, we're going to totally rebuild Dalton Division Road from South Street all the way to William Street. It's going to include a roundabout at William Street, and there's going to be sidewalks which the engineers want to have on the west side, the Pittsfield side of the street, from south all the way to William Street. And the issue at hand, though, is that while we have sewer on the first third and we have sewer on the final third, we have no sewer on the middle third. And all those homes along there, truthfully, aren't that many, both on the Pittsfield side and the Dalton side, have essentially septic. And so they're eventually going to be running into Title V. And our feeling was, if we're going to be digging up the road like we're going to for redoing drainage, everything, that it's now or never to put sewer into that. So we need to actually do the engineering so that we can attract, try to get some grants and low interest loans. And when you do the engineering, then people know that you're serious when you've put the money into the engineering. And so this is, we had started this project a year or so ago, and all we got was a feasibility study, and we paid $26,000 for that, and we need to make this a full engineering project ready to go. So we're anticipating it could be another 60,000 or thereabouts, but I hope to get a firm number in the next couple of days. So that pretty much summarizes everything at the special town meeting. Anybody have questions?
Thank you, Terry.
Thank
Can I
you.
ask a question?
Yes?
About the gutter on the police department and the library,
Not the library, but
the police department.
essentially the town offices around where the police station is below, yes.
My question is that, they are trying to get a new police department, was my understanding,
Correct.
building, so
Correct.
are we gonna be moving along with that, or is this like an expensive?
Well, I think how I would answer that is, number one, I think truly we're still a little ways off from, constructing a public safety building. Yes, that's the goal. But in the meanwhile, again, our insurance company, and this insurance company is really good in so much as when there's claims, and there's been some claim down in that area, they look for ways to rectify the situation. And, they kind of penalize you if you don't react. It's, it's kind of I understand what they're trying to do. And so we're not going to be moving out of there right away in the near future. And so it's a project that really should be done overall for the health of the building, not just necessarily the basement area, but that definitely is where the problem would be rectified, we hope, by having all this water go away. Because look at the other day, we had like 2 inches of rain, and that coming into the foundation is not what we need.
I think it's just a priority to get that started and getting it moved, and, get land that we can put.
Yes, believe me, it's being worked on. But 13,000, while it's not trivial, it's a relatively small amount when you put it in terms of what we're going to be looking at for a new public safety complex, which is going to be multi-million dollars. So, this just rectifies a problem and just allows us, a little more cushion, shall we say, to make it the conditions more livable down in that basement area. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Okay. Regarding Article 11, discussion regarding the use of the senior center. Mr. Chairman, I move that this item be tabled.
Okay, motion made and seconded. The reason we're tabling on this, the lady that was going to speak on it was on Zoom. And we got to shut Zoom off because we had little performers here, so we'll put it on the next agenda. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, paperwork. Mr. Chairman, this is regarding the Dalton Community Cable Association, reception of the annual fee from Charter Communication. Mr. Chairman, I move that the sum of $25,982.41 recently received from Charter Communications be transferred to Dalton Community Cable Association.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Okay. Okay, Clean Air Committee update. Now, is someone here going to speak on the Clean Air Committee update?
Dave Pugh was, he's the vice chair, and he was acting as chair at the meeting last Thursday. John and I were both present. I don't know, John, do you have any remarks on the meeting?
Well, I think it went very well. Unfortunately, yourself and myself had to leave at 5:30 to go to another meeting, but at that point in time, the committee was going to take a look-see at the conditions that may be applied to the annual PCC permit. And you and I and Tony have already looked at the conditions that are being proposed several times, as has the town's lawyer. So I don't think there's any surprises there, but it may have been very informative to the public that attended the meeting, which there were several, and the additional members of the committee. And that was pretty much the highlight of the meeting.
Yeah, I don't know how far, is anyone, Richard, can you comment on how far down the list they got on the conditions?
We didn't actually get to the list, and it was proposed that it gets moved to the next meeting, which is the 18th. And
So hopefully that'll be at the top of the agenda.
Yeah, and that'll be the focus of that meeting.
Okay,
Yeah, that's the way I.
okay.
So did you do any of the list?
No.
None?
No.
Yeah, see, we're definitely running out of time. Was there anything notable that happened at the beginning of the meeting that worth mentioning, Richard?
The only thing that I brought up was the mediation side plan was sent to the town on the 18th of August. We haven't heard an update where the engineering firm was commenting on that, on the particular lot of land.
Yeah.
It's not updated.
There's been no action on that so far, right? Other than that, Terry, I think, do you recall anything of significance?
No, I think what I found was that David allowed the audience, I would say, a lot of latitude, and they made a lot of, comments similar to what we're hearing tonight. And, I would say we didn't get as much into the agenda due to that.
And he tried to address many of the concerns of the
Yes,
public.
yes.
There was one comment that was made, and it was a request to anyone in town government, for instance yourself, and the select board, by Mr. Griffin, in regard to, I don't recall the exact name of the company, but it's
Berkshire Environmental?
Berkshire Environmental?
Yeah.
Was that it, Ron?
Yep.
Okay. How the procurement process was developed and carried out regarding the selection of that company to carry out this work. And nobody seemed to have an answer.
Well,
And
yeah.
perhaps you do now.
Well, the fact of the matter was, is 30B is the procurement law, and the gist of this contract was that it was below 30B, having to go out for written long RFPs, and it's at a stage where you can get verbal quotes set back up with maybe a small presentation in writing. But the bottom line is you aren't required to get in an in-depth RFP. And so we had Tony pretty much, was the captain of this. And we did have more than one quote, but Berkshire Environmental, in our minds, was the one which provided, I know Ron's in disagreement with this, but they provided the best service for the price. And so, we went with them, and it is they are consultants.
That's what the
more
question
than anything for the special permit to oversee, with the planning board to assist in the preparation of the special permit.
There was a question about the procurement and how it was transpired. And you've answered the question. I don't know if it satisfies Mr. Griffin, but,
Well, my only concern is the bid process for something that I consider, as a town member, this important, should not be a simple narrative in a selection. I think, in my mind, the RFP, the request for services, should have been documented in detail as to what the town's expectations were of the firm that was going to be hired to be responsible for this type of service. And force them to be not only to express their qualifications, but to express their experience in this particular area. I would question that the firm that was chosen by the town was not put through as rigorous a process as it should have been for a public entity. Public entity. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah.
Public entity.
well, it's done now. So let's move on.
I'll honestly admit, this was done really right when I was transitioning into the position. And, if I can admit, an error in knowing now, that it should have been maybe a little more detailed.
Should have been put into responsibilities like this. It's a board responsibility, and it did not, and it was not given to a board specifically. It was given to a group of volunteers where a committee was assembled supposedly to address the issues that we've been talking about for nearly a year. That's concerning for me.
Okay.
And to me, it seems as though it was taken very, very lightly.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. That's all I can say, as far as I know. It's done.
Chairman,
They've
please do not
been hired on, the contract has been signed, so.
right, but please do not usurp the public process. Please. And that, to me, in my mind, that's what was done. A public procurement process was usurped.
Okay. Anything else?
Future agenda item?
Okay. Town manager update.
Okay. I'll just read what I prepared here. Some of this we've covered a little bit, but not all. This week we've scheduled 4 interviews for the position of town accountant, as Sandy Albano is finishing up for 25 years on October 3rd. The interviews will be 2 on Wednesday and 2 on Thursday. We hope that we'll be able to settle on one of the candidates and make an offer shortly thereafter. Obviously, that individual will need to be appointed by the select board, hopefully on your next meeting on September 22nd. We currently have 2 separate contracts in the hands of Air Partners. Now, this would be of interest for the clean air folks. One for sand analysis at BCC and some of the surrounding areas where there have been most of the complaints. and the other for air monitoring, which will be at places suggested by the contractor in concert with our officials. I'm told that they are just clearing up some of the issues with insurance, and then they'll be signing the contracts that they currently have. This morning, I received the final draft of the revised employee handbook from the HR consultants, our contractors. Dawn and Sandy are going to give it a quick once-over. Then I will be forwarding the finished handbook and associated documents to the Select Board for your review. The HR consultants are requesting your approval on the September 22nd, so that then there will be time to distribute it to the department heads. This is because they have arranged to be on site September 30th and/or October 1st to explain the changes, answer questions, and solicit any further suggestions from the department heads. So you guys are going to be getting, it's a 60-page document, so if you're having trouble sleeping, you know, sorry.
60 pages.
This week I was contacted by Chief Strout, actually late last week, asking if we could add another crossing guard to their budget. The issue is that there are some 40 students that are walking in need of assistance of the authorities to safely cross Route 8. Right now, she's assigning a cruiser to be there during the morning and afternoon hours. However, this is inadequate as they must sometimes answer a call. Thankfully, we can add this item to the motion at the upcoming special town meeting on the 17th of September. The total cost, by looking at what we put in for the first crossover guard for the year, suggests that it should be less than $5,000. Chief Strout is sending me her exact request before Wednesday. I've asked her to tell me, because she said it may not be the full year appropriation.
Why do we have those students crossing Route 8?
Where on Route 8 is this?
Well, this is right there at Nickolas. You know, that's a terrible, that's a bad.
Oh, that's terrible over there.
That's the intersection of East Housatonic hitting Route 8, and, you know, there are students that come from, you know, down Housatonic Street, let's say, or otherwise are coming down maybe Route 8 itself and then crossing at the school. So I only reported what Chief Strout has.
I was under the impression that we had a stop and go light there by pushing the button.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, this is something we need to further explore, but it seemed to me that I don't think she had asked for this unless it was necessary. But, I mean, yes, you know, we can check, but that's
The
it.
request originally came from the principal, Rob, I can't remember last name.
Did it?
Came from him through.
I mean, you know, there's a traffic light there, and that's just has been there for 20 years. Now all of a sudden there's a problem?
Well, I don't know, I think they may have cut crossing guards, you know, from the past. I'm not sure of that.
I don't think there was ever one
I
there.
don't think we ever had one.
Okay. Well, this is something, you know, like I say, I wanted to advise you of as to the update process.
Yeah, I'm in favor of it, especially the e-bikes and everything that go flying through
Yeah.
there.
So, I mean, let's you know, on Wednesday when we meet, I hope to have more answers.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Yep, good, Dick.
Let's see, with regards to the two draft IMAs with Pittsfield, one is for the wastewater treatment and the other is for the reconstruction of Dalton Division Road. And they're currently both in the hands of Pittsfield with a request to make other changes and updates. And actually, we've given, with the wastewater, updates and changes we wanted. I'm waiting for their reply.
Excuse me, Terry, 1 second. Ma'am, did you have a question?
Well, I just had I was confused about where on Route 8 they wanted the cross.
Do you know where the Stone Mill condominiums
No.
are? Where East Housatonic Street comes into Route 8 there? Right there is where Nickolas School is. And Bob is right, that there is a crosswalk there from basically, it just crosses Route 8. It's kind of right where East Housatonic Street comes into Route 8. And there is a crosswalk there, but, you know, honestly, it's a state road and people drive rather fast. And then that intersection where, you know, people are turning on East Housatonic or coming, you know, getting on Route 8 from East Housatonic.
Yeah, it's a back.
Can be a little tricky.
I'm on Berkshire, so I see
Why after
cars
20 years?
sometimes with cars, you know, coming around
It's just crazy.
from 8 really quick.
Yeah, around the curve, you mean?
Yeah.
Where it transitions from east onto Main.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I mean,
That's really.
you know, truthfully, you know, it's a state, I want to say state highway, but, you know, I shouldn't say that, you know, it's not like a state road, but,
It's just,
you know, people do drive rather.
They drive way too
fast.
fast through there.
Well, there's a lot of
I
crunching.
mean, I lived
Yeah,
right there, I lived
exactly.
right on East Street on Route 8 for
Okay.
37 years.
Okay, Terry, go ahead with your.
Okay, so next is we've reached an agreement with the MS4 Stormwater Project and have awarded the project to CES Engineering for an agreed price of $94,000. This will appear as Article 3 on the STM of 917. We would like to thank Tom Irwin for his outstanding contribution in getting the town to this position. Here's one for you. This is an update. We learned today that our longtime vendor, LHS Services, for the census-related services, we've had them since 2007. They're dropping us immediately. They are no longer providing services to municipalities with fewer than 4,000 households. As we have learned that some initial steps for the 2030 census will begin this December, and we'll have to attract a new vendor sooner rather than later due to this. This was shocking news this morning that Heather related to us. You know, we've had them, you know, for like 20 years, and they just said, well, sorry, we're done. They're getting too big, and they just want to do bigger communities.
That's a wonderful problem.
You know, there's probably going to be a lot of small towns, you know, trying to hook up with somebody new. And finally, we are approaching the final steps in the search for the new permanent town manager. There were 23 individuals applying according to our consultant MRI Associates. They will be working to pick from those the best 10 or 12, which will then go into the hands of our own selection committee. They are scheduling executive session interviews for September 20th and September 23rd. They expect then to present between 3 to 5 final candidates for the select board's review to interview in an open session, of course.
Yeah.
That's when the remaining names will be public. The names right up until that last section are not public. We are hoping that the board can get, and this you should listen to, we're hoping that you can schedule a special select board meeting on Monday, the 29th of September, for the express purpose of interviewing and selecting the finalists. So if you can kind of put that in your thinking cap, because we feel we need to move along at a, you know, not a quick pace, but we can't just linger. You know, some of these candidates drop away the longer you wait. And our thought was that you don't have a regularly scheduled select board meeting until October 14th, which is the Tuesday after Columbus Day. And you know, that's way too long to let this hang out. And so Lori was even suggesting the idea that you have a special meeting beginning, you know, at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, because, you know, you're going to be looking at, you know, perhaps up to 5 candidates. And this way, too, between the 23rd, when they, you know, announce or, you know, essentially have the 3 to 5 finalists, they'll be able to give you the packets for those individuals so that you can study them and also have your questions prepared, which of course should be identical questions to each of the people that are the finalists. So anyways, that's all I have.
Will Tony
Hopefully
be
that.
back by the 29th?
Pardon?
Is Tony gonna be back by?
No, he will not be back until like, I think the 9th of October. He knew, and the other thing, he could, there's no reason that he couldn't possibly zoom in on
Zoom, yeah.
these, because he'll be, at
Like
one
6 or 7
location
hours ahead.
at that point in time.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure he'd be interested to be a part of it.
Yeah, him and I had a talk, he wants to be included in it.
Yeah, so I think we can include him, for him, of course, basically, when you think of it, it's,
When did you do back?
he's not due back till October 9th, I believe.
9th?
9th of October. Yeah, he's gone
Which is a
for a long time.
Thursday, which then brings us right back to October 14th being next available date.
Yeah, but again, I think you'd be making a kind of a mistake to have these guys finish their work here in, late September,
Can
and
everybody
then
make
just
that
sit on it.
29th?
Probably.
Yeah, let's just.
But
let's
still go right in it. We're gonna have to start early.
Yeah, we'll start, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's nothing you have to do tonight, but I wanted to
I was under the
alert
impression
you
that,
it looks like we're moving in this direction.
we'd end up with 3 candidates in the final.
We
But-
may, but when they still.
It might be 3, but actually I suggested to John Bartels, who came to the office today, I said, in my mind, you should look to 4 or 5, because I've seen cases where you have 3, and suddenly, by the time it's time to interview them, some of them suddenly are dropping off. And wouldn't it be awful to just suddenly have 1 or 2 left? I don't know.
And we'll see what we do on the
Yeah,
29th.
you guys figure it out, but
We will. Okay,
that's my thoughts.
thank you, Terry. Future agenda items.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to propose what I propose is an important issue. That we place an item on the next select board agenda to set a price and sell the remaining Barden property.
Okay, where you got that?
To do what?
Sell the remaining parcel of the Barden property.
Yes, I had communications with Katie today at KP. She had, the question she wanted me to answer is, she will do she says, whip up a simple sealed bid, but she's wanting to know, do we need a deposit, and do you have an idea for a minimum bid?
Yeah, well, we'll work that out Monday.
Okay,
Well, okay,
yeah, just think about that
Yeah,
if you
can you
would.
come with the recommended assessor's price for the land?
Again, the assessor's cost, based on our visit, Lee and I went up there, it was reduced from like 33 something down to 29 something, I think, because the buildings collapsed.
Bob, when we dealt with the original Barden property of 5 or 6 parcels, and it's your suggestion, we place the price on it as a per acre.
Right.
And I think we should do the same here.
Well,
Not necessarily the same price, but,
It's about 10 acres.
yeah.
so we'll discuss that
Yeah.
next meeting, okay?
Meanwhile, can she, in the meantime, draw up an article that we can place?
Yeah, I just.
And we just put the figures in when we decide them?
Yeah,
I mean, this is-
I'm gonna get back to her, and I can say that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and, I mean, she just was wondering, if you had.
When she sent us an email, like 2 months ago, that said, hey, you're perfectly authorized to sell it now, under any regular business type procedure that you see fit. And 2 months had gone by, we've done nothing.
Well, it's gonna happen, John.
know,
It's maybe somewhat on me to,
Well, then, hey, maybe the board can take charge. I guess that's what.
Okay, let's move on. Any other future agenda items? Okay, items not anticipated 48 hours before the meeting. Remarks of the select board. Anybody? I have a couple. Next Monday, we are going to have our final meeting for the cable contract with Attorney Bill Solomon, and then we're gonna go hopefully into discussions for negotiations with Spectrum, so we can finally get a cable agreement with them, which will help us, Dalton Cable, get the equipment they need so
Yes.
badly.
Very important.
It's extremely important. And also, yesterday, I attended the CRA Hall of Fame. That was one heck of a ceremony, and I'd just like to reach out and thank everybody at the CRA who had anything to do with it. Congratulations to all the athletes, coaches, and the sponsors. It was really very well done. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, let's see announcements. LP Adams will be celebrating 125 years of service. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thank you, LP Adams. Residents are reminded that they're welcome to attend the town manager's screening committee meetings. The Dalton Cemetery trustees will hold 2 informational sessions regarding green burials in the Athlet Street Cemetery. The sessions will not only be to explain green burials and answer questions, but receive suggestions for residents. Both suggestions will be at the Dalton Senior Center, 40 Field Street. The first session will be Tuesday, September 16th, 2025, 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. The second session will be Thursday, September 18th, 2025, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Okay, the town of Dalton currently has the following employment opportunities: the town manager, town accountant, and DPW motor equipment operator. Please visit the town website or contact the town manager's office for more information. The Town Managers Act had been scheduled for hearing with the Joint Committee on the Election Laws on September 16th at 1 p.m. at the State House. There is an opportunity to testify in person, virtually, or via written testimony. Please visit the town websites for more information. Dalton's official meeting postings, agendas, and minutes can be viewed at mytowngovernment.org/01226. The next meeting of the regular select board meeting is scheduled to take place on Monday, September 22nd, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Dalton Senior Center with an option for remote participation, maybe.
Yeah, that more participation.
We don't have any more entertainment.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn.
Okay, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good night, Dalton.